And I'd like to bring in outgoing Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson now to discuss a little bit more about this and some other topics. I do want to ask you, Governor, about the special counsel that's now overseeing these DOJ investigations involving the former president. I know you're not a fan of this special counsel, in part because it delays things. Do you think, though, that it makes Trump vulnerable as a candidate?
Well, all of the reporting that you just did on the myriad lawsuits and criminal investigations is problematic. It's dizzying for the public to see this kind of chaos surrounding a candidate for president, and he's already announced. So to me, it's very problematic and just is reflective of all of the challenges that go with a Trump candidacy. You mentioned the special master, and for whatever, that's my concern, is that this will delay the proceedings and the ultimate conclusion on this investigation. And that's been the history of it. These are complex matters. You've had the Department of Justice engaged in it. And we don't want this. It's not good for the public. It's not good for anyone to see this all go into 2024 and be in the middle of a presidential campaign. That's my concern. It's obviously something that's done, and the special prosecutor, I'm sure, will try to move things quickly, but there's a lot of mountains to move, and the likelihood is that it's going to take some time for them to get the final conclusion.
We're awaiting this runoff race in Georgia between Senator Raphael Warnock and his challenger Herschel Walker, and you and I had actually spoke just ahead of Election Day, and I asked you whether you believed Herschel Walker's denials that he paid for his former girlfriend's abortion, and you told me this.
I take what he says at face value, and the people are going to have to judge that. But I think it's too important of a race simply to take what happened in the past and say that's going to define his future. I give him the benefit of the doubt.
Do you still take him at face value? Do you still give him the benefit of the doubt?
Well, my comment's exactly the same as I articulated on the interview that we had. And obviously, the voters there in Georgia were a split decision on it. He's running against an incumbent. He got it into a runoff. We'll see what happens the next 30 days. And to a large extent, the election there is about who's going to represent Georgia, but it's also about the national direction and whether we're going to have more or less support for Biden's agenda in the last 2 years. So all of those are factors that have to be weighed in the final decision of the voters.
I do want to ask you, in light of this shooting at the LGBTQ plus nightclub in Colorado Springs, do you think that members of your party need to tone down some of their transphobic language? We've heard some people, some elected officials, talking about pedophilia, grooming, demonizing trans people. Well,
in all of our society, we need to tone down harsh rhetoric that causes others to hate. That's not what our society should be about, and that is horrific. Club, our hearts go out there as it should, and hopefully it will cause us all to be more reflective about what we say, how we say it, and how we might stigmatize certain elements of our population, which is not good.
But specifically,
while most people handle that.
Can I ask you, Governor, specifically just about those kinds of comments that I was highlighting, because we are talking specifically about a situation here where the suspect is facing hate crime charges. Specifically, is there room, in your belief, for that kind of language in the Republican Party?
You mean harsh language in reference to the trans community?
Yes.
No, I think that we need to show compassion for all elements. There is a debate as to, and we had this in Arkansas, as to what you do with trans children that are struggling with gender identity and how you handle the medications and things like that. Those are fair points of discussion in the policy arena, but you don't have to translate that into hate or harshness that, again, stigmatizes. So to me, it's very important that whether you're Republican or Democrat, and I know you're talking about Republicans, that we use rhetoric and words that try to bring people together and not to divide us. And it is true whether you're talking about race or whether you're talking about sexual identity. You don't want to say things that's going to cause others to hate more, and they might respond with violence. That is not what we need. We need to suppress that every chance we get.
Governor Hutchinson, it's always a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
So I had the big announcement today on student loans as President Biden tries to cancel debt for millions of Americans. And as the Thanksgiving holiday travel rush gets going, the rather perplexing find when a suitcase went through an X-ray unit at JFK.